Today we're going to be looking at Paddy Pimblett versus Benoît Saint Denis. This is the co-main event on UFC 329, headlined by Max Holloway versus Conor McGregor. This fight is going to be a banger. Now, given my recent history and my considerable level of ass at picking MMA fights and predicting them recently, I'm going to take a step back here in this one, and I'm not going to be giving my prediction. In this, I'm going to be talking about what I think could happen, where I think each fighter could win, where I think each fighter could lose. We're going to talk about it. Because here's the thing. This matchup it's kind of a coin flip in my mind. I think that there's a lot of opportunities where Benoît Saint Denis can absolutely maul Paddy Pimblett, and I also think that there's a lot of opportunities where Paddy Pimblett can just straight up finish Benoît Saint Denis kind of out of nowhere. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's take a look. So the first fight we're going to take a look at here is Dustin Poirier versus Benoît Saint Denis. So obviously Benoît Saint Denis lost this fight, but I'm actually going to be looking at things that he does well in this fight and where I think that there's actually an opportunity for him to fucking do a lot of damage against Paddy Pimblett. So if we go ahead and start here, you'll notice one of the things Benoît Saint Denis does a lot is he's extremely flat-footed. He's extremely I don't want to say slow, and I also don't want to say stuck in the mud, although he kind of is. He just kind of moves forward at you. He doesn't give a fuck what you're throwing back at him. Excuse me. He doesn't care. He just walks through your punches. And that's to his benefit, but also to his detriment, as we'll see later as well. But he just kind of walks forward. He has a nice jab. He has a hard right hand, and he does this so well, where he gets you to put your hands up, right? He's going to be walking at you, throwing the jab, throwing a right hand, and just straight down in onto a takedown. And he gets so low on his takedowns, right? But what he does do is a lot of times he exposes his neck, which I'm not the biggest fan of, right? You'll see here, he likes to put his head on the outside. If he can't really finish a takedown, he's not the best chain wrestler, but what he does do is he just kind of bullies you into a takedown. He's going to just keep moving forward, just keep trying to run you over. And when you run into the cage like this and you decide to put your head on the outside when you continue trying to run someone over, you do leave your neck exposed, as we see here. Dustin Poirier attempts to jump a guillotine. It's kind of a shitty guillotine, and Benoît Saint Denis is able to get out of it. Now, the reason he is as you see here, he just kind of flips over, right? Dustin Poirier didn't have any attachment to his body outside of a half guard attachment. So this half guard attachment here, what it does do, right, in order to escape a guillotine in a traditional sense, right, the lock is on the left side here. We can see here. You want to circle around and clear the legs on the opposite side of wherever the lock is. Benoît Saint Denis is not able to do that because in order to circle, he'd be running into the cage. So that's not an option. So because Dustin Poirier isn't able to lock up a full guard here and keep Benoît Saint Denis in place, Benoît Saint Denis just elects to just kind of flip over here, and that allows him to get out of the guillotine. And I'll be honest, Dustin Poirier, he has excellent jiu-jitsu. He's not going to sub you with his jiu-jitsu. He doesn't have many submissions in his career, but what he does have a really good ability to do is scramble, get out of bad positions. He doesn't get held in one place all too often, which Paddy Pimblett also kind of has the ability to do. We'll talk about that later. So Benoit here, right? They stand up. Dustin Poirier is able to get back up to his feet, but Benoit, he just hangs out here. He likes to hang out here in this body lock, do a good bit of damage trying to land knees, and on the break of a lot of these locks, as I'm pretty sure happens in this clip. I'm watching this along with you live, so I'm not totally sure, but I know it does happen later. He likes to land a lot of uppercuts and kind of hooks over the top of a collar tie. That was one thing that Justin Gaethje did really well against Paddy Pimblett and against Ilia Topuria as well. He shoots in, right? He gets your hands up with a 1-2. He shoots in, makes you think about the takedown so that your hands drop, and he comes right up into a collar tie. And when he comes up into this collar tie, he lands an uppercut or an overhand over the top. Those can do a lot of damage. And we see Benoit here, right? He's just hanging out. He's just hanging out, holding a body lock, right? Trying to land a bit of damage. So this is exactly what I'm talking about here, right? He's going to land this 1-2. It's really a 2-1, and he just drops right down onto a takedown. It's a shitty takedown, no doubt about it. It's a terrible takedown. And he also, again, he's really just like trying to bully you into a takedown. They're not the most technical wrestling takedowns in the world, but they're effective. But what he does do again is he leaves his neck exposed. Now, he's not getting guillotined here. Well, he is, but like he's not. This isn't getting finished, and he's able to break away from it. But he does leave his neck exposed, and Paddy Pimblett has a good guillotine. He has good finishing instincts when it comes to finishing quick scrambly submissions like that, right? We'll look at the Bobby Green fight later. Like, that's a perfect example of it. And that's what I'm talking about, where there's these opportunities for Paddy Pimblett. These really quick, like, you have to jump on the opportunity, but they will be there. This is more of what I'm talking about, right? Benoit does not care what you're throwing back in his direction. He just walks forward. He just walks at you. He gets you up against the cage. That's where he wants you. That's where he can land his big, powerful, bludgeoning punches and where he can land his takedowns, right? He wants to get you into this collar tie situation, this clinch where he can land knees, land elbows, land whatever the hell, just bludgeoning shots just to grind on you, right? He doesn't care. He's walking right through it, getting to this clinch, knees. He doesn't care what you're throwing back in his direction. That's going to be a little bit challenging for Paddy Pimblett to deal with, I think, because Paddy Pimblett doesn't deal with pressure very well. He's not super agile when it comes to circling. He's not really great at like maintaining distance. He's good. He has decent kicks, but his punching and his boxing, not good. Not very technical, not super fundamentally sound. And so I worry for him. He also has no problem getting backed up, which isn't a good thing against Benoît Saint Denis. We saw it in the Justin Gaethje fight. He just gets backed up to the cage. And Benoît Saint Denis himself has good, like, all-around grappling, not just, like, wrestling. He has decent jiu-jitsu, too. Again, it's not the most, like, technical and not the most fundamentally sound, but it works. It just fucking works. Like, he's crafty. You'll see here, right? Dustin Poirier's in on a takedown. He goes from a single leg, he tries to switch to a double leg. He's trying to get his hands connected around the butt in order to elevate Benoît Saint Denis and get him down to the ground. Benoit reaches across here, which is usually a no-no. Against a better wrestler, maybe not the best idea. They can still lift and kind of dump you on your head here, as we saw happen to Rose Namajunas, that famous clip. I think, I want to say it was Paul Felder. He was like, you can't lift here. She's got a Kimura, you can't lift. And then whoever she was fighting, I forget, lifts her up, dumps her on her head, and knocks her out. Anyway, so Benoit, he reaches across for a Kimura, and it's an interesting defense where he almost pulls guard. He essentially falls to the ground, uses this Kimura to sweep Dustin Poirier over, which I think is just a really interesting use of that in order to gain control again, right? He digs an underhook, he gets back to his feet, and now he's back on the body lock. And now Dustin Poirier is back on the defensive. And they come back up to their feet here, knee, big shots to the body, elbow, elbow, elbow. Right? He doesn't care. Dustin Poirier is throwing back, but he doesn't care. He's just in your face. He's there to brawl. And again, right, we're in this body lock situation. He just kind of drops down. Kind of lazy too, right? You see, he's got his head on the outside when he drops down for this. Look at where his head is. His head's on the outside. This is not the best place to put your head because you're going to get your neck snatched up. And Dustin Poirier does not have that great of a guillotine. You know, there's all the memes and whatever, jump the gilly. It's going to be bad, if you know what I'm saying. If he keeps leaving his neck out like this against Paddy Pimblett, though, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. But Dustin Poirier, again, this, whatever, I'm not a fan of this. It's not that tight of a connection, trying to finish a guillotine like that. It looks tight, right? It's almost like a baseball bat choke, right? A guy's head, you get the clasp behind their neck, however you want to clasp your hands, like this or like this, and you kind of cinch up. He's almost doing that reverse, right? He's got like his hands like this, and he's trying to cinch like this, but that just doesn't really work because of what you can see here. Benoit can just posture up and kind of get out of it like that. So this is kind of after that scramble, right? Benoit gets him rolled over, and he's trying to take his back here. He's got good control here, right? He does something interesting too, I want to point out. So he's definitely hooking the glove, 100% hooking the glove right here. I think that's kind of funny, but anyway. So you see him reach. He's the blue glove. He reaches for Dustin Poirier's right glove, and he lifts his hand up and his elbow so he can sneak this hook right here in, so he can start looking to take the back. Once you get one hook in like this, right, he's already halfway to a body triangle. You can see his other knee is right here on the ground, and he's got essentially Dustin Poirier is doing some of the work for him. He's got kind of just like, he's got that seatbelt grip. He's got that seatbelt grip, right? This is one of his hands. Let me draw on here a little bit. One of his hands, Benoit's, is right here. His other one is right here. He's grabbing his own wrist. This is Dustin Poirier's arm here. And he's got that seatbelt grip, and he's gonna just kind of sit back and fall to his left side. And when he falls to his left side, he falls right into this body triangle position. Now, the body triangle ends up on the inside, preferably, right? The locking leg is this one here. You want that on the outside of Dustin Poirier's right leg if you can. But there is some advantage to having it on the inside. It allows the person to not turn back into you. But either way. So he ends up on the back here. And man, I don't know and he ends up actually, he fully secures the body triangle. He's fully on Dustin Poirier's back, right? We've seen guys on Dustin Poirier's back before. It's going to be bad if he gets here. Paddy Pimblett, I'm just saying. But, you know, this is just not where you want to be. He's going to win the round. He's got good back control. He's not going to give this up too easily. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to switch over here now to the Benoît Saint Denis versus Mauricio Ruffy fight. So first of all, this matchup between Benoit and Ruffy was an orthodox versus southpaw matchup, right? Benoit comes out in southpaw. He always usually fights in southpaw. Paddy Pimblett's usually an orthodox. So, as we know, if you're dedicated members of the YouTube channel, when you have an open stance, the other side, right, that's not on this side, right? Look at these guys. They're in love. They're holding hands. They're all connected, right? This side, no kicks. The other side, right? Your rear leg is so useful in an open stance for landing kicks. You have a free body kick in both directions, to be fair. And both guys do have good low kicks and good body kicks. But the body kicks of Benoit Saint Denis are nasty. They're really good. And I think that he's going to use that as a great weapon because Paddy Pimblett does like to stay at kind of kicking range. And Benoit, I can just see him slamming kicks like this right into Paddy Pimblett. And I think that's going to be a great weapon for him, honestly. And you also have head kicks too, right? What does he do? He loves to use that shot. Even if he's not going to get you to the ground with his shot, he's still going to use it as a way to like kind of just keep you thinking. And he uses it, right? He threw a body kick to start out. He throws a head kick right after it, right? He's constantly having his opponents guessing. Granted, right? We're dealing with a body kick and a head kick. It's not like this guy's throwing jumping, spinning wheel kicks. He's not like an insanely technical or good striker, but like it's good. It's good, and he uses it to great success. Now here is just an example of what I'm talking about, of Benoit Saint Denis just being fucking beefier than his opponents, right? Because he shoots in a really low shot, but look at how far away he is from Ruffy, and Ruffy's already starting to sprawl. He gets his hips back, but Benoit just kind of stands up into him, right? He hooks the waist and he connects, and now he has double unders on you. Double unders are really hard to deal with. They're a lot easier to deal with out in space, but he just runs Ruffy to the fence, just runs him to the fence, and when you have double unders against the fence, it's a lot harder to deal with because you can't move your hips back any further. That's like the number one key to defending takedowns, is the ability to move your hips. The closer the offensive wrestler can get their hips to you, the more danger you are in of getting taken down, for the most part. So from here, we can see, right, he has double unders, and the second Ruffy starts to bring his legs together, Benoit just starts to elevate him, and he just whips around, right? Almost trips him a little bit and just gets him to the ground, and now he ends up here essentially right into full mount. He's in like 3/4 mount right now, and This is, again, just not where you want to be. And the thing I was saying earlier, like Benoit has good grappling. He has good jiu-jitsu, but not in the sense of like, again, he's not like a Charles Oliveira where he's super flowy on the ground and, one false move and you're getting put in a triangle or something like that. He has really, really heavy hips. He has really good top pressure. And when he gets on top of you, it's really hard to get out from underneath of him. So you can see he just steps right across, steps in him out. Like Hoofy's still got a knee in here, and he actually does, I think, use it to sweep here, if I'm not mistaken, which is, it was a good use of a sweep. But look at that. Look at that, bro. Look at the way Benoit just keeps this crossface, right? Look at the way he has his right shoulder right here just pressed into the face of Hoofy. And what that does, where the head goes, the body goes, right? So he's using all of this force from his shoulder to just grind Hoofy's face over to the side. He's pushing his head this way. And as Hoofy attempts to sweep to the left, he tries to elevate him and sweep him to the left. I'm capping. He tries to go to the right, but he can't because of all this shoulder pressure and all of this chest pressure keeping Hoofy essentially pinned to the ground, and he just stays connected to him, and Hoofy can't keep turning over because he can't get this shoulder free. This crossface is pressing him into the ground. He's stuck, and Benoit just uses that to get right into side control and stays on top here. Now he's in full mount. This is exactly where you do not want to be against Benoit Saint Denis. Now, I also just want to point out, right? A lot of times, like, people see grappling exchanges like this where there's not a whole lot of, like, ground and pound going on. There's not a lot of submission attempts, whatever. But unless you've grappled, you don't know how absolutely exhausting this position is for Hoofy. Being underneath of somebody who is strong as shit and just has your arms up over your head and grinding their chest into your face and your arm into your face and just, like, there's so much pressure here, right? His chest is compressed. His arms are up over his head. He can't breathe properly. And think about this, right? I know he's not getting suffocated here in a traditional sense, and he's not getting choked out. So there's not complete oxygen deprivation, right? But when your body can't get sufficient oxygen, it tires you out quicker. Think about the difference if you went for a 100-meter sprint and you were just sprinting regularly, or if they said, go for a 100-meter sprint, but we're going to duct tape your mouth and nose shut and you can't breathe the entire time. You're probably going to be a lot more tired at the end of that 100-meter sprint when you couldn't breathe through the entire thing. So that matters, right? When he's getting grinded out, when Hoofy's getting grinded into the mat here, he's having trouble breathing because of all the top pressure. Like, that tires you out, and it tires you out very quickly because you have to still be trying to defend here. This isn't just like a position you can really rest in, right? Because if you're not also trying to force this elbow, if Hoofy's not trying to force this elbow down and using a bit of exertion, it's just going to get put across his face and he's going to get put in a head and arm triangle. So he has to be, like, still actively working here. This isn't a chance to rest. As much as it may just look like two guys are laying on top of each other, that's not what's going on here. So Hoofy actually does something here that, you're kind of taught to do and you're supposed to do. When you give in a little bit of space, try and turtle, try and create a scramble, and he does, but he does something stupid. He makes a mistake. He lifts Benoit's leg here, which I'm not exactly sure why he did that. Essentially what that does is it gets Benoit's leg in perfect position to lock up a body triangle, like, right away. So Benoit just, he takes that seatbelt grip, he forces Hoofy back down to the mat, and he has a free body triangle. And now he's on your back. Again, exactly where you do not want to be. This sucks. This is absolutely tiring. Body triangles hurt. They restrict your breathing, right? They're back up to their feet here, and Benoit just doesn't give him a moment to breathe. Throws a head kick. The second Hoofy tries to get comfortable for a second, he drops on a takedown, right? Like, little feints, throws a right hand. He knows Hoofy's going to be throwing something in return. Hoofy's counter striker. Hoofy tries to land a knee, doesn't matter. I'm running through you. I'm getting a takedown. You have no say in the matter. And Benoit's just a better grappler than Hoofy, like, straight up, he is. And so he's able to sit him to his butt, drags him out. Like, look at the fucking strength. Look at the strength of Benoit Saint Denis. Just drags a grown man across the ground. Like, that's insane. Grown man strength. Absolute grown man strength. Hoofy has him, right? They've got over-unders. It's an equal position here. Doesn't matter. Look at how easily Benoit just gets back to cage control in the clinch. He's so strong. He's so physically imposing in these fights. It's ridiculous. That is a nut shot, though. That was definitely a nut shot. Side note. Look at how long it takes Herb Dean. Hoofy's like, yo, he hit me in the nuts. Yo, Herb Dean, he just hit me in the nuts. Herb, he hit me in the nuts. Herb, he hit me in the nuts. And then Herb Dean's like, oh, fuck Herb Dean. This is pretty cool. Look at the way, all right? Hoofy's such a good striker, first of all. I just want to point that out. But Benoit, head kick, right or left hand, and then just in on a takedown. He will just walk forward and just throw whatever the fuck he wants to because he knows he's getting to this position, which is good for him. He is the definition of a marauder. And again, he does this same thing, which I think is awesome. He fakes the takedown and just comes right up to land a few strikes and a body kick. He loves doing that. He's right back in your face. He uses that so well to just get you backed up to the cage. It's awesome. Now, again, something it does leave you open to, and against a great counter striker like Hoofy, it's there, but I don't know how much it's there against somebody like Paddy Pimblett. If you're going to take those lazy shots, you're going to get clipped. And that did wobble him, right? He comes in here, he goes for a lazy takedown, and he just gets clipped with a left hand on the way in and wobbled. And again, he just doesn't care. He's still right in there, right in your face, not wasting any time. He's still just on the pressure. Shoots in on a takedown, doesn't get it, comes right up into a collar tie, uppercut. Small stuff, but it adds up. He did hit this exact same takedown 3 or 4 times against Hoofy, where he has double unders. I can't really see it. I think it's double unders here, and he just lat drops him down to the mat, just pulls him down, right? He's got his arm twisted up in a weird position behind his back, and he just uses it to kind of hop his hooks in, traps the other arm, just jumps his hooks, right? And now he has your back. Again, just not where you want to be against someone like Benoit. But what I do think is Paddy Pimblett's going to have a little bit better of back take defense than Hoofy did, obviously. He's a much better grappler, much more experienced grappler, I'd say. But it is just impressive that, dude, if he gets to this spot against Paddy Pimblett and can start landing that sort of damage, it's not going to be good. And this is only a 3-round fight. If he can do this twice to Paddy Pimblett, that's 2 rounds. He wins the fight. This inevitably leads to a finish for Benoit. He starts to just kind of work into a rear naked choke here. It's still over the chin, but it will still choke you out. That's why it takes so long to actually finish. But, I mean, with your back up against the cage here, there's just not a whole lot that Hoofy can do besides allowing himself to get flattened out. And at that point, he's just going to get his head beat into the dirt. So that's about it for this fight. As far as Benoit Saint Denis goes, I think he will have a great time if he is on the pressure in Paddy Pimblett's face. We saw how poorly Paddy Pimblett dealt with pressure from Justin Gaethje. If he's in his face, if he's using the takedowns I could see this fight playing out similarly to how it played out with Gaethje. Not so much in the striking exchanges where Gaethje was able to beat him up so much, but I think more in the grappling. But Gaethje did a lot of these things, right, where he's shooting takedowns, faking them at least to come up into collar ties to land uppercuts. But Benoit's actually going to be serious on a couple of those takedowns, take him down to the ground. And bro, we're going to look at it. Paddy Pimblett had trouble against Michael Chandler. Against Michael Chandler, he had trouble. People don't remember, bro. I watched that fight back today. He had trouble against Michael Chandler. Everyone just remembers the finish and remembers him beating the fuck out of Michael Chandler. He was in a bad spot with Chandler at one point. And we'll look at it. We're about to take a look at it. But I think if Benoit is able to implement his grappling, stay on the pressure, get to those takedowns, get to those body locks, and take Paddy Pimblett down and move into dominant position, he can land a lot of damage and he can have a lot of success. And it could lead to him winning a fight via decision, which I think, I'm not giving my prediction yet, but like that's what I'm leaning towards. But I also think that he has some poor tendencies on the feet and he's kind of slow. I just don't know if Paddy Pimblett's going to be able to take advantage of them. And the way that I see Paddy Pimblett winning the fight is by either taking Benoit Saint Denis down himself, or maybe not so much. Pimblett doesn't have great wrestling. What he does have is good reversals, good sweeps. He has good jiu-jitsu. And if he can end up on top in a position kind of like Moicano did against Benoit Saint Denis, which maybe we could actually take a look at that for a second, that's where I think he could win the fight, or latching up a guillotine or some sort of submission off of his back before Benoit is able to get into dominant position, maybe on a takedown, maybe if he ends up in his full guard. We'll see. But I do actually want to look at the Moicano fight real quick with Benoit Saint Denis so we can look at an area where Pimblett could potentially have a lot of success and be really dominant. Now, this takedown for Moicano does come off of a caught kick, right? Like, he catches the kick, pretty slickly moves into a rear body lock, and kind of just, like, circles BSD down to the ground. And what Moicano does super well is his ability to, like, regardless of what you're doing with his upper body, he keeps his lower body super, super heavy, and that allows him to kind of stay in a dominant position while Benoit is working and while he's fatiguing himself, which allows Moicano to kind of get into a dominant position to land more damage later. So we see here, right, Moicano, like, BSD doesn't have that great of jiu-jitsu off of his back. And Moicano, right, he kicks off of his hips. Moicano's just kind of easily able to flip him into turtle and look to take his back. Paddy Pimblett has really great back takes. He gets on his back, and now there's few people in the UFC that are as good at taking the back as Moicano is, but he does end up on BSD's back here. And we see BSD, he rolls, he tries to get out, but he's just kind of spinning in place, right? Moicano keeps a hold of this body triangle, and BSD's just kind of going back and forth between the back and mount, and Moicano's not really moving. And once he's in this position, dude, BSD is like kind of fucking helpless, and Moicano's just raining elbows, raining punches down, just beating him up. And we all remember what his face looked like at the end of this fight. Like, this is what I'm talking about, where if it can get to this, Pimblett could have a lot of success. I just don't know how capable he is of that. After the Gaethje fight, I'm like, how bad actually is your wrestling? I don't know. We haven't seen him go against a really good grappler yet. And so that worries me. I don't know what Pimblett's actually capable of. I don't know if in that Gaethje fight he was like, fuck it, I'm just not going to wrestle because I don't want to have a boring fight. You know, it's first card on Paramount, you know, whatever. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out. So we're going to see pretty early in this fight, right? Pimblett's no stranger to getting backed up. Like Chandler's, now, I know Chandler, especially early on, is really explosive, but he backs Pimblett pretty easily up to the cage, and he's going to utilize that to get a takedown here, right? He's going to let Pimblett whiff on a strike. Well, Superman punch off of the cage is crazy, but he's getting backed up to the cage, and he's just kind of throwing with Chandler, which against somebody like BSD's a lot bigger than Chandler is, and he's going to have no problem standing in there and trading like up against the cage, especially if Pimblett's the one up against the cage in this fight, right? So Chandler, right, granted, Pimblett kind of trips himself, but Chandler shoots in on a takedown. Pimblett's up to his feet. Look at how easily Chandler just elevates Pimblett here and just rockets him down to the ground, right? And now he's got control of Pimblett. Pimblett's up against the cage. He's fighting for his life, right? Trying to stand back up. And we're talking about Michael fucking Chandler here. I know, before you all run to the fucking comments, Chandler, in his fucking wrestling credentials, whatever, I still think Benoit Saint Denis is a better wrestler than Michael Chandler is. And Pimblett had a tough time getting him off of him in this fucking word I'm looking, sequence, Jesus Christ. Now Chandler's not doing a whole lot here, right? Like, he's just holding on to this Dagestani handcuff, just yanking Pimblett, right? Not really doing a whole lot. He's just controlling him here. But somebody like Benoit is not just going to sit in this position and accept being in a position of control. He's going to start moving and advancing, trying to take Pimblett's back here. And Pimblett's kind of stuck. He's not doing a whole lot to get out of this. He's not rolling to his back, which I would like to see him do because I think he's a lot better off of his back than he actually, like, maybe not gives himself credit for, but he doesn't seem to use his jiu-jitsu off his back a whole lot. And I think it's pretty good. And I think it could be a good weapon for him in this fight, as long as he isn't accepting of being in a non-dominant position like he is right now. See, Chandler's just holding on to this. He's just totally fine with staying here. Pimblett's going to start working his way back up to his feet, and Chandler now is on a full, like, rear body lock. So Pimblett starts to work on a similar Kimura grip that we looked at earlier that Benoit had on Dustin Poirier. Doesn't work for him all too well to sweep. He does a great job, though, here. Something interesting. He grapevines his leg. This is his right leg. He hooks it behind Chandler's right leg, so he can't really get elevated and kind of slam to the ground. But Chandler just drops, just pulls him back down to the mat with him. And now, if you're in this situation against Benoît Saint Denis with him beating you up against the cage like that, I don't think it's going to go as well for you as it did here. And this is where I'm talking about, like, if Benoit ends up in these scenarios, I just don't think that it's going to go as well for him as it went against Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler's a lot smaller. He can't do any fucking damage to save his life. So I'm a little bit worried for Paddy Pimblett in these sort of scenarios. This was cool. I don't like this at all. At fucking all against BSD. I think BSD will fucking rocket ship him into the ground. But jumping a triangle like that was cool. I just think, you know, fuck it. This is what I'm talking about, bro. Pimblett's cool off of his back. He's got cool shit he can do. Make the fight interesting. Like, he's working on a triangle here, and he uses that to create space. He kicks off, and he gets up. Now, Chandler still has a hold of a single leg, but now he's out. He's out. He's out. And I do think that Pimblett's going to do a bit better than BSD will out at space, right? Pimblett's got dog shit for hands, right? His hands are fucking ass. He can't throw a goddamn punch to save his life. His punching mechanics are like that of a 12-year-old, but that's okay. We can work with it. He still hits kind of hard because he's fucking strong. Look at that fucking uppercut. I can't with this shit, bro. I can't with this shit. Look, he throws like a fucking bolo uppercut, bro. He's like, that's what the fuck he does with his fucking uppercuts, and oh god, it makes me so mad. He just whiffs. So stiff. It's okay. He has decent kicks. I want to see him use kicks. Because I think, also, don't get it twisted, I'm rooting for Paddy Pimblett in this. I think it's better for the sport if he wins, in my opinion, because that does set up a potential Ilya versus Paddy Pimblett fight, which is huge, right? And we all know how big of a fan of Ilya Poirier I am. It's not a surprise to anybody, right? Pimblett, though, man, he keeps his hands so low. That's not a bad jab, but he keeps his hands so low. I'm just so worried. He's got decent kicks, though. This is what I'm saying. I think that he can have success with the kicks. But I'm just worried that if he gets too lazy with his hands, it's going to lead to wild exchanges with Benoît Saint Denis, of which I do not think he's going to come out on the better end of those exchanges. Look at some of these exchanges, bro. He's losing these exchanges to fucking Michael fucking Chandler. Fucking Michael Chandler and him are trading jabs here. Come on, Paddy. We can do better than this. Look at what he's doing with his hands. Like, he's in no position to, like you can tell that he's a grappler the way he stands, right? Make some fucking fists, bro. Like, damn. I don't know. Just whiffs on an overhand. That's cool. That's really cool, right? This is what I'm talking about. These kicks of Pimblett are going to be a huge fucking weapon for him. And I do think that he needs to use those more in this fight than he has in previous fights. Because if he's able to keep Benoit at a distance with his kicks, that's going to be of great fucking help to him in this fight. Dog. Yoink. That fucking uppercut, bro, I can't. He whiffs on that shit in such like a cartoon fashion. It's so funny. Like, this is good, right? Jab. Now, hands are up. Jab. Step in. Keep some distance. That's good. I want to see Pimblett fight with his hands up in this fight, right? He's doing now what BSD does, where he just chases after you throwing punches. But I'm also worried that he's going to like do one of those like running blitzes that he does and literally like sprint into a takedown. I want you to look here. When Paddy does this blitz, right, he throws a crazy blitz here where he's running at Chandler, literally sprinting at Chandler, and Chandler's just covering up and backing up. Dude, I'm telling you, if Benoit takes advantage, he can very easily take advantage of this because Paddy Pimblett in no way is like on balance here, right? He's just running forward. If BSD drops his level and attacks and like literally like tackles Paddy Pimblett, he can take him down in these scenarios where Paddy's running forward. Even here where he stops, his feet come totally together. He's completely standing upright here. These are the opportunities where BSD, I think, has the chance to capitalize and take Paddy Pimblett to the ground. Now, this is something I wish we fucking saw against Justin Gaethje. A little bit of wrestling out of Paddy Pimblett, right? Dumps Chandler on a single leg, chain wrestles right into a double leg, right? This right here, he lifts him up and gets a takedown. And now he spends the rest of this fight, right? This is what I'm talking about. His back takes are pretty fucking good. If he gets into a scenario like this on BSD, it could be really fucking bad for Benoit, right? Because he starts to take the back of Chandler, and I'm just going to skip ahead because he gets into the same position that Moicano had on BSD, just this full mount where he's just bludgeoning Chandler, bludgeoning him with punches and elbows, and just, he finishes the fight here. Because Paddy Pimblett, similarly to Benoit, when given the opportunity to be in a position like full mount or the back, it's really fucking hard to get out of it because of how big and girthy these guys are and how well they hold these positions due to their like super heavy hips. This is like almost like a fucking mirror matchup in these mind. Both of these guys, a mirror matchup in my mind. Both of these guys have like kind of shitty striking, but hit hard, but also have a really good job or have a really good ability to like get into full mount or the back and do damage and have good grappling. I just think that Benoit has a greater edge in the wrestling, and Paddy Pimblett's got a better submission game. That's what this is going to come down to. Can one guy use their slight advantage to their advantage? I think like BSD, slightly better on the feet. Slightly. More technical, but slightly better. Slightly better wrestling. Way better wrestling. Paddy Pimblett, slightly worse on the feet. Better submission game, right? Good takedown defense. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this fight. And it's a really interesting matchup. And I think that it's kind of a coin flip. So I want to go ahead and look at the Paddy Pimblett finish over Bobby Green. This was kind of sick as fuck, I'm not going to lie. So we see here, first of all, Bobby Green, Paddy Pimblett doing a little dance. For some fucking reason, all right, Bobby Green puts his face into Paddy Pimblett's nuts and tries to get a takedown. Bobby Green, this is an awful shot, all right, first of all, because, if you're fucking balls deep on a takedown like this, this is actually a good instinct, right? And something that I could see BSD taking advantage of, right? I'm talking about when Paddy Pimblett throws these kicks, getting in on a takedown. Bobby Green's just so significantly smaller than Paddy Pimblett, and that matters in this, right? Because Paddy Pimblett, like, Bobby Green's in on the takedown. He's fully in on it, and Paddy Pimblett's just stronger than he is and just can sprawl this out. And when he does, right, he immediately latches up this guillotine. Bobby Green keeps trying to finish the takedown. His head, right, we can see his head goes towards the outside of Paddy Pimblett's body over here, and that's how he's able to lock up this guillotine. And as he's trying to finish this single leg now, Paddy Pimblett just jumps onto a guillotine. And something interesting, I'm not even sure how this happened. You can see Paddy Pimblett has Bobby Green's arm trapped right here with his legs. Now, he could probably very easily finish this guillotine, but guillotines are low percentage submissions in MMA. They're hard to hit. They're very difficult to hit. And what's better is using them as a way to chain into a better, more high percentage submission, like he starts to do in this clip. He throws the leg over the shoulder of Bobby Green, as you can see, throws his leg over, and he starts to set up a triangle and immediately latches up this triangle. Now, oh, nasty elbow. Blech. So, Paddy Pimblett is essentially, if we were in this position right here, and Paddy Pimblett can essentially get his hips back towards the ceiling and his back flat to the mat, right? If he can get himself back over this way, he will finish this triangle. One of the keys to finishing a triangle, as you'll see closer in the finishing, like when he actually finishes this, is you want to be as close to perpendicular to your opponent as you can possibly be. So as he looks to start trying to finish this here, look at how perpendicular he is. Bobby Green's body's going this way, and Paddy Pimblett is almost entirely perpendicular to him. That's exactly where you want to be to finish a triangle. It puts so much compressive force down on the neck. This is perfect. A lot of people might think that you want to be like squared up to finish a triangle, but being off to the side and perpendicular like this is exactly how you finish a triangle. You saw there, he grabbed his ankle and he pulled. He pulled his ankle in tighter, right? And now Bobby Green's actually able to square himself up a little bit, but Paddy Pimblett starts to invert, rolls underneath, hooks the leg. This is going to prevent Bobby Green from essentially standing up out of this triangle. And this is just perfect. Again, look at Bobby Green's body this way, Paddy Pimblett's body this way. He is completely perpendicular, and that is exactly how you're going to finish a triangle choke. He grabs the leg. Bobby Green's not getting out of this. He goes out cold in a second here, right? You'll see enough time spent in this position right there. He's out cold. As soon as his body flops over, Paddy Pimblett chains it into an armbar. He's completely out cold. This is what I'm talking about, where Paddy Pimblett has this ability to latch up submissions in quick, scrambly sort of situations. The difference, I think, a little bit, Bobby Green's on the smaller side for lightweights. BSD's big for lightweights. It's obviously harder to submit bigger opponents who are of similar skill levels to you. So that also plays a factor. But it doesn't matter sometimes. If you can get a submission, you can get a submission. And I think Paddy Pimblett would be hard-pressed to finish something like a triangle on BSD. Again, finishing triangles on large opponents, pretty fucking difficult. But who fucking knows? Crazy side note, Jaylen Brown just got traded to the Celtics for Paul George and 2 first-round picks. Anyway, this is so yucky. Ew, what the Get off of me. What the fuck was that? Like, I'm sorry, the punching mechanics of Paddy Pimblett are so bad. Like, not a single one of those was thrown in any sort of proper fashion. He finishes it here with a great knee. Awesome knee. Like, that's the thing. Paddy Pimblett has, like, decent instincts on the feet, especially in terms of, like, countering. But his, like, mechanics are just awful. I'm not going to lie. And he brawls in the pocket with his hands down, too, which is just, like, you're asking to get fucking knocked down, which he does. And, like, that was a pitiful shot that he just tried to take. This is, like, he just ducks down. He just, tries to create some sort of connection to no avail at all. And, like, look, he's, like, running away with his hands down, and he doesn't move that fast. Like, he gets clipped and clipped. And he actually gets knocked down here because he just stays up against the cage with his hands down. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And here's another instance, dude, of him just kind of getting, like, controlled in this position and beat up by Gaethje. And again, I know the American wrestling credentials, whatever. This, I don't like the look of. I think somebody like BSD, he's a better grappler than Gaethje. I don't think that's a question. And so I'm worried that in these sort of scenarios, like, what's going to happen? What is Paddy Pimblett? Is he going to be able to pull out anything at all to get out of a situation like this? And so, like, here's a decent little flurry from Pimblett, right? Like, good kicks. Like, just kind of like get off of me kicks, but they're good. And he's decent at that, right? He's decent at throwing kicks like that. I want to see him throw kicks like that in this fight with BSD. And this is what I'm talking about, too, of Pimblett having, like, decent instincts on the feet. Like, he was landing a lot of jabs in this third round, and he has, again, like, a nice little flurry here. Like, he landed a jab on Gaethje. Gaethje's coming in, and, he stings him a little bit with his flicky right hand, but he gets him. He has decent instincts on the feet, but it's just like his strikes themselves, it's so not technical. It hurts to watch sometimes. And Pimblett's fucking tough. Like, he's really tough. And so, like, in an instance right here, right, he kind of trades right hands with Gaethje, or left hands. But again, it's a good, hard shot. He hits pretty fucking hard. Good flurry from Pimblett. Like, he's not awful on the feet. He's terribly not technical, and I'll keep reiterating this point, but neither is BSD. But he can do a little bit of damage. I don't see him, like, knocking BSD out. That's not going to happen. But maybe he can soften him up enough, land a couple of strikes when BSD's, sticking his head where he shouldn't. Who knows? Maybe he hurts him. Maybe he's able to, get a flash knockdown and jump on a submission. You never know in these sorts of fights. And so all in all, like, in this matchup, Paddy Pimblett, Benoît Saint Denis, I don't know. I don't know who's going to win. Nobody knows. That's why the odds are so close. They're in favor of BSD. Like, Paddy Pimblett's an underdog. But I don't know. This is such like a mirror matchup in my mind. I think that I'm leaning towards Benoît Saint Denis, but you can't count Paddy Pimblett out entirely. You just can't. So this is going to be a really interesting matchup. I think that's all I have for today. We went through a lot of film. If you stuck around to the end, thank you. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about this fight. Tell me. I'm curious, because I really have no fucking clue. So if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. And stick around. I'll be having a breakdown of McGregor-Holloway. I'm going to try and at least get that recorded tomorrow, maybe uploaded on Sunday, something like that. I don't know. Y'all will see it. I'll also post my official predictions. But in the meantime, I hope y'all have a great one. Enjoy your long weekend, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace out.